Hey guys, Colin here, founder, CEO, Wild Foods Co. Here with a quick video about what to do before you start a full-blown keto diet. So this is almost like a pre-keto template that will just make it easier to do keto. You'll prevent like the keto flu, and you'll prevent the symptoms of sugar detoxing and going lower carb in general using this strategy. I highly recommend it for most people. And also what I think this is also great for is people that maybe are doing keto or did keto and thought that it was a little bit too restrictive. This is kind of an entry middle ground that you can go to before keto and after keto. So stay tuned for all about it. All right, so this is a two-pronged strategy. The first big thing that you want to do to ease into a keto diet is to start eliminating your sugar consumption. And so anytime on a label it says sucrose, coconut sugar, cane sugar, those are the things that you want to start eliminating. You're going to be replacing them with part two of this two-pronged strategy. But the first thing is you want to start cutting your sugar intake by at least 50%. Maybe you do 50% for a week, then you do 50% of that for a week, which would basically be 25% of what you're doing now. And then, you just constantly bring it down until you decide to go full-blown keto. And at that point, you should be doing, less than 10 grams of sugar a day tops, maybe ideally no sugar, no added sugar, and just using veggies and complex carbs and whatnot. But the first thing you do is you figure out what you're eating on a regular basis today. You start counting every gram of sugar that you're eating. So when you buy a package and you eat this thing, look how many servings are in the thing, how much you're eating of that package, and how much sugar is per serving, and then write that down. You will be surprised if you're already not tracking how much sugar is in your diet, especially if you're eating out on a regular basis, especially if you're buying packaged food out, or if you're buying sweets now and then, or if you're buying sweet drinks now and then, or having dark chocolate, things like that. Sugar's just everywhere. It's lurking everywhere. And the first thing you need to start doing to be able to successfully transition into something like keto, especially if you're eating a lot of sugar and you're not really paying attention, is you have to understand how much sugar you're already consuming, so you can then have a baseline so that starting next week, you can start doing half that amount of sugar, right? So that is the first part of the strategy, is we're going to aim for doing a full week of 50% of what we're eating sugar-wise, and that starts with tracking how much sugar you're eating on a regular basis. Okay, part two, as you start reducing that sugar, you have to start replacing it with two things. And you can kind of fluctuate this as you want, but you start replacing it with fat, with clean fats, all right? And I'm not gonna really go into all the different fats, but some of my favorites are grass-fed butter, MCT oil, avocado oil, tallow. I have a buffalo tallow in there. Just any quality clean fats, whole avocado, egg yolks, nuts and seeds, macadamia nuts are great. And you start replacing what you would have eaten sugar-wise with those fats. Addition, you start adding complex carbohydrates from greens or things like broccoli, cauliflower, etc. Complex carbohydrates, my favorite is sweet potatoes. So really, to really simplify it, start eating a little bit of sweet potato every meal and a little bit of extra fat every meal. Maybe you have a sweet potato and you slather some butter on, right? That's an option. A dash of cinnamon, it's so good, right? Maybe you have a few macadamia nuts on the side. You have, not roasted, but sauteed spinach or whatever green you happen to have. And then you drizzle that with some MCT oil, some avocado oil, maybe melt some butter, etc. Start thinking, I need to add some quality fat and some quality complex carbs to my meals to replace and get my body into the kind of sugar detox slowly but surely, right? Because then you get things like keto flu and sugar detoxing, and these things come when people are eating 100 grams sugar a day and then they try to go eating 0 grams sugar a day. Like, obviously you're shocking your body in that way. It's not going to feel great. And so to give you a better adherence percent, if you start making a focus of adding fat, complex carbs, and again, complex carbs aren't necessary. Like if you don't really want to do sweet potatoes, then just do a lot of greens. That's fine. Like if that's your thing, that's your thing. But I think for most people who are trying to get off sugar, something like sweet potatoes, which is a little bit naturally sweet, which tastes amazing with a little bit of salt and butter and cinnamon, etc. It helps a lot. It helps kind of mentally and it helps physically because you're giving your body some better carbs and you're not shocking it too much by just going, cold turkey. All right. And so I hope this was useful, guys. This is something. I almost forgot. So for those of you that may have done keto and maybe you thought you didn't want to be that strict and you want to enjoy your carbs here and there or whatever, you can use this template to kind of do a post-keto diet, right? For the most part, people would probably call it a low-carb diet. And in general, I think for most humans, it's a very general, broad rule that can kind of apply to most humans. Something between 50 and 100 grams of carbs a day, if they're from greens, sweet potatoes, complex carbs, and very rarely from sugar and grains and processed food. I think 50 to 100 grams of carbs is pretty sustainable and going to be pretty metabolically friendly for most people. Like, you're not going to have issues with weight gain. You probably will naturally be able to lose weight if you're trying to do that within the confines of exercise and intermittent fasting and whatnot. I find that people that talk about keto not being sustainable, I mean, that can be true for some people, but it's really a decision. And so a nice happy medium where you can kind of enjoy your cheat meal on the weekend, maybe do a carb refeed a couple times a week where you do like 100 to 150 carbs or whatever. But in general, if you aim for under 100 grams of quality carbs every single day, that's a really great alternative to a strict keto diet that I think a lot of people that really maybe want to do keto could do within the confines, again, of real food, quality carbs, and ample proteins and fats, and you still have to eat real good food, right? That's always what it comes down to. It's the first principle. So you always have to eat real good food. But I think that could be very useful for a lot of people. So go ahead and slap the subscribe button, guys. Like the thumbs up, jab it, do whatever you want. Leave a comment below if you have any questions or comments or suggestions for other people about how they can ease into keto or even, let's say, out of keto. Because, like, let's say you want to go on a trip and you still want to kind of keep lower carb. You understand the benefits and you got results with that, but you also want to enjoy life, which is understandable. Then maybe you do something like you do 100 grams of carbs a day. You do kind of more of a lower carb, and then you kind of enjoy carbs while you're traveling or whatever it is, So, again, don't be dogmatic with this type of stuff. Listen to your body, try new and different things, and always be mixing it up because that's just the key to success. All right, so thanks for watching.